What is going on, everybody? This is it. On our channel, we've covered LeBron, we've covered Jordan, and my opinion has changed through the years, especially since doing the research recently and discovering a few things. But this is it. This is the debate to end all debates. We have a foolproof system that will once and for all prove who is better between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. You know, we can still, I know people are going to talk about it. Let me know in the comments, not based on popularity, but what do you think about my system? Is it true? Does it hold up? Does it make sense? Now, starting first is how are we going to judge this? How are we going to know? Right? You can't just say 6-0 finals, it's done. That's what people do. You can't because there's so many things that go into that. From teams, right? NBA, you got to win at least one title. To ever have your name etched as one of the elites, you got to win one. Sorry, Charles Barkley. Sorry, Patrick Ewing. You had the unfortunate luck of playing in generations with Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. It just didn't work. It wasn't in the cards. But you got guys like David Robinson who stayed on long enough and got it when he got Tim Duncan because he needed help. And that's what we've seen here. So as we go through this, this is how I'm going to judge it. Okay? And we're going to have stats, and stats don't lie. Now, they can be misleading. Stats can be. A 30-point season, right, in like 1992, in my opinion, is more impressive than a 30-point season, say, in 2019. Just based on the defense, based on how many points per game other teams are scoring. So there's so many other things that people have put out there to try to, you know, kind of twist and angle. There is no twist here. We are going straight up stats, and it is based on a point system. Don't unclick this video now once you hear that. It's going to make sense, trust me. And let me clarify one thing before I get any further in this. My top 3 players of all time are my favorite to watch, my favorite to root for. Number 1 was Magic Johnson. Still, my guy. I could watch him all day. His skills, everything he could do, he was a wizard with the ball. Number 2, this guy doesn't fit with my top 3, but I just loved him. Chris Webber, C-Web. I still have an autographed picture from him and Jason Williams. I have a number 2 Washington Bullets jersey. A Bullets jersey, not a Wizards. C-Web was my man. I loved his game. I loved him from Michigan. And all through NBA, I love following him. And number 3 is LeBron James. LeBron James, he reminds me of a combination of Magic with some Michael Jordan and even C-Web. The way he's got the big physicality. He is like a combo of Chris Webber, Magic Johnson with the passing and the dribbling and being able to play point guard. That's why. That's just the game that I love. Maybe because as a player, that's what I would have loved to have been. So put that in the note. James is one of my top 3 ever. He's my favorite of this era right now. So I'm not being biased. I'm going to be straight up and I'm going to give you facts, stats, and points. Starting with individual. Individual when it comes to this. For an NBA title, you give 5 points. Now you go, 5 points, that's not, no. Trust me, that's the highest margin on any of these stats we're going through. 5 points for an NBA final, 4 points for a finals MVP. I'd rather have a finals MVP than a league MVP because that is when it matters most. 3 points for a league MVP. And 2 points for any other award, such as Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, things like that. We're not going to go all pros. We're not going to go all defensive teams or all-star teams. That, you know, that some of those are just popularity or whatever. We are going basically on awards, including dunk contests. That might help Jordan out in the end. I do hold that against LeBron. He should have entered at least one of them. Even Kobe did. Now, individual stats. Let me speed this up so we don't get bored here. I just got to give you the point rundown. 30-point game. Now, this is based on a season and how many he had. 30-point game season, you get 3 points. If you had 7 or more assists, 1 point on the season, averaging. 7 or more rebounds, 1 point on the season, averaging. And every season you had in your career when you had those, you get 1 point or 3. Now, let's get to postseason. Playoff per win season. So, if you average 7 wins, playoff wins in that season, you're going to get 1 point for each one. And finals win percent. Whoever has the better finals win percent is going to get a 3-point bonus. So, let's cover it all. Let's get to it. Regular season win percent, you'll get 2 points. And, yeah, who cares? Let's get to that. So, starting with individual, we're going to go Jordan's career. He averaged 30 points. Dang. That is crazy. That is crazy in a very tough era. People have said just recently on Twitter when I was discussing some of this, they're like, oh, how are you going to count all these awards Jordan won when he was in a weak era? If you say that's a weak era, and even if you lived and watched it, then you are victim to the same thing I used to be, which is denial and thinking the opponents were weaker because Jordan was so good. I cleared it on another video where I learned Jordan made them look bad. Jordan and that Bulls team was so powerful, it made his other opponents look inferior when they weren't. They weren't, man. That era was so good defensively. And for Jordan, in his career, 30 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. So, on his career, 8 seasons, he averaged, dang, dude, I mean, you knew he had to be a lot if he's going to have 30 points at the end of his career in 15 seasons. But 8 seasons, he had 30 points, so he's going to get 3 points for each of those. Only one 7-rebound season and only one 7-assist season. I believe that was one of the league MVP years where they won his first title, I think. Don't hold me to that, I could be wrong. So, with that total, that's 32 points. 32 points off the board just on Jordan's career, right? Just on the points career, how important that is, 32. LeBron James, in his career, 27 points, right? So he comes down 3 from Jordan, and he only had 3 30-point seasons. 3 where he averaged it in 20. So 17 years he didn't, so that shows you. But his assists are higher than Jordan, 7, and his rebounds on his career is 7. That's outstanding. When you're getting 7 rebounds and 7 assists for 20 seasons, that's an incredible average. So, how many times did he do 7 rebounds? 17 times. Top notch, and 13 times for 7 assists. So add all that up together, that equals 41 points. So off the bat, when you just look at career stats, like I said, different eras, we just got to put what we got. Jordan, total 32, LeBron 41. So a 9-point advantage for James. We'll see if this holds up. Remember, we got those final win percent. That's really huge. So let's get to the next one. Regular season. These are the regular season awards. Jordan, 6 championships. Bam! That's always the one people go to, and you got to go to it. And I'm okay with it, right? I just don't get the 6-0 being, I mean, I know what it means. It means when it was crunch time, he was big. But in the Western Conference, or the Eastern Conference Finals, is that not crunch time? In the Eastern Semis, is that not crunch time? Hell, when playoffs come, it's all crunch time. It's all. If you choke in the first round, that is a disaster. So there's no excuse. So all of it matters. So 6-0, he's got 6 titles. 5 league MVPs. That is awesome, especially if you look at some of the guys from Karl Malone, David Robinson, Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, some of the insane greats he played with, to come up with 5 MVPs in his prime, outstanding. 6, even more, 6 finals MVP. That is the dagger, 6 for 6. Did he deserve them? Yes. Yes, go watch the finals. Who else was going to get it? Now, I know Pippen is the man. If you look at it, Pippen did better in every category in their 6 finals than Jordan. But, not by much. The points was always more for Jordan. He did take more shots. But Jordan had more points, was the leader, took it when it was crunch time. Pippen's own words, he goes, I never had to be a killer. I never even really went through my mind because we knew it was going to MJ. He was the killer. So, way to go, Jordan. 6 finals MVPs. 2 dunk contest championships. Booyah. I love that. That's one of the things I miss, having big guys. I don't know. My opinion, I think, I could be wrong. I think it's, now it's like, it got to the point where it was like, when Sean Kemp faded, you got these up-and-coming guys. So it was a big way for them to come up and go, hey, who is this guy? Bam, shoe deal. Bam, now he's a big name. Bam, he's got the headlines. So that's what it became. And maybe the big name guys were like, I don't want to come lose to this guy. I don't want to lose to Mac McClung. I don't want to go out there and choke to this. And I'm the big all-star, and this guy's, So I think it is pressure on some of these guys, and they don't want to do it, which is disappointing. Because Jordan, man, he lost to a guy who was 5'7". Don't believe me? Look it up. Most of you already know that. Spud Webb. But then Jordan came back and beat him, I think, in the other time. One of the other ones. Him or Dominique beat him. You go and you do what's your best. But Jordan, 2 dunk championships. LeBron, 0 on that. And then he had 10 other awards. I'm not going to go through all of them, but 10 other. Insane. So after all that, you add that up with it, that equals 81 points. All of Jordan's personal awards, trophies, everything, championship, bam, 81 points. That alone almost doubles what LeBron did just as he was trailing coming into this. Let's get to LeBron James. Hold on. 4 championships. I know people say, hey, 4 ain't better than 6. It's not better than 6. But he's not, like I said, he's not a one-year wonder. He's not the Houston Rockets who won because Jordan left, you know, whatever the case. He went out there. He had to defeat the Golden State Warriors. That is one thing, no points for it, but that is one thing I will always say, tip of the cap to James. Down 3-1. They came back. They beat a 73-win team. People have said in the past when I bring this up, they go, well, Jordan was the 72-win team. He was the best. He made the record. And I go, yeah. That's my point. James was not on that team. He was not the 73-win team. He was a team still good, right? They made it, but he was the underdog, and Jordan never was. And so people say, well, then James sucks. No, it was the teams he was going against were better. And James elevated his team, and they did beat that 70. So that is one feather in his cap. I wouldn't say that makes you the GOAT, or even better than Jordan. But it is freaking good. That's why I think he's one of the best ever. And there's no shame in if you're not better than Jordan. And that's all I want on this video is both sides to come to a conclusion where if you're a LeBron James fan like myself, I just said, or you're a Michael Jordan fan, you don't have to. And I feel like it's in politics, how it got to the point where it used to be, go up, say what's good about you and what you can do to make this better. And then the other guy goes up and says, now, heck no. Now in politics, even with high school, it's tear the other person down. I'm going to look better by tearing you down. And that's what it is with the Jordan and James back and forth. There's never a, hey, James did this. And the Jordan fans go, yeah, you know what? That is pretty dang impressive, beating that Warrior 73 Warrior team. It's, oh no, our 72 win would destroy them. They would destroy you. You're horrible. You couldn't take it. You can't survive. And it's like, dang, dude. Sports is all about debate, not attacking. And that's what I feel like we need to come together and just acknowledge both sides. Yes, that was insane, Michael Jordan. That was insane, winning 72 games. That was amazing dunk championships that you won over Dominique on some pressure situations. Yes, LeBron James, that was a great way to carry your team, even though you lost to the Spurs. What you did against the Pistons, 26 unanswered scored points just for you. Dang, dude. It's like, let's just tip our cap and be respectful. So anyways, back to James. Finals MVP, 4. So on all 4 of his finals, just like Jordan. Jordan was 6 for 6. James, of course, deservedly so. And that's another reason people say, well, he played with Wade. He played with Bosh. He played with Kyrie. But in all those, he was the MVP. He carried them. He needed those guys. But he still carried them, and he got the finals MVP. It wasn't a garbage vote. He really deserved them. Now, go to the rest of the awards. Remember we talked about Jordan having 10? James only has 4. Dang. I mean, he's got the All-Pro, like both. That's why I said, take that out. But as to looking through it, he's only got 4 other individual real accomplishments from Rookie of the Year and things. No dunks, no other Defensive Player of the Year, none of that stuff. So James total, 52. We saw Jordan was 81 to 52, and you're like, ouch, ouch. The things that matter most is right here. This is the part. This is where it matters most. The individual awards, the trophies hanging on your racks. And James fails in comparison next to MJ. And even if you want to say it's a popularity contest or blah, 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 it doesn't matter. Facts are facts and points are points. After round 2, Michael Jordan is up 113 to LeBron James 93. So now he went from up by 9 to being down by 20. And the proof is in the pudding. You cannot debate this, right? And the points are fair. They're even. Heck, remember the first round? Look at all those that favored James with the 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Those are facts. Jordan fans, you got to take it. Overall, his numbers averaged better and had better careers with overall numbers. But when it came to winning when it mattered, Jordan had put on a show, and now he's got the lead. So now let's get to playoff wins per season. You might be surprised, but you shouldn't be. Both of them are 9, like 9.1, 9.2. They're basically identical. Both of them, they average 9 playoff wins per season. That is impressive, especially for Jordan early in his career where he couldn't really get out of the first round because he didn't have any help and he was playing juggernaut championship teams and just outstanding. The East was so tough. And so I used to hold that against him, but I learned, and you admit and you say, you know what? Dang, yeah, I'm not going to hold that against Jordan. And just like I don't hold it when James did win playoff games earlier and made it to an NBA final quicker than Jordan and then lost and got swept, I'm not holding that against. Why would you hold that against him? Jordan, just like if Jordan, let's say he did surpass him and he gets there and he gets swept by the Rockets or the Lakers in the finals, I wouldn't have held it against him. I'd have been like, dang, dude, he didn't have much. He had some players there, but he didn't have any other Batman and Robin superstars, and he did it. And that's what James did, and you don't want to hold it against him, just like I didn't hold it against Jordan. But they both averaged 9 playoff wins per season. So after that, they both get 9 points. So after this, it is MJ 122 points to LeBron James 102. Still a 20-point lead, not gaining on him. Let's get to the final win percent. Dang, this is really where, I mean, we're separating right now. It's hard to deny facts. So as we get to final win percent, this is only worth 3 points. Whoever has the better one is going to get 3 points. Jordan, he was 24-11 in the NBA Finals with 68%. So he won 68% of his final games. We know he never lost in the finals. But what's more impressive is he never got to a Game 7. And it's not like, oh, like with Seattle. They went up 2-0, won Game 3 in Seattle, and we're up 3-0. And in those series, you kind of feel like you're trying to win, you're doing your best, but maybe you're just not intentionally losing. You're just like, you're just beat. You're up 3-0, and you're like, hey, we got it. We just got to win 1 out of 4. We've never lost 3 in a row. We got this. And then Seattle sneaks the last 2 in Seattle. Jordan say, hey, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. And then they beat him. They avoid him. Well, he didn't always do that. Remember, Utah, when they were up 3-2 from winning in Chicago, they went back to Utah in Game 6 and he won it. And man, it's like in that series, I remember thinking, if Utah can force a Game 7, which has never happened, how will Jordan step up? Well, hell, Jordan said, I don't need to step up. I'm not going to a Game 7. So 68%. This is really killer. This is really a dagger in the heart for LeBron James fans. And like I said, not biased. I hate it. I hate hearing it, but you can't deny it. LeBron James in the NBA Finals, he is 22-33. 40%. That's, what is that? 28% less than Jordan. Dang, and you know what? The good thing is it's only a 3-point swing. But man, that is, I mean, if I counted the percentage difference, this would be a white, like whoever had the higher percent would gain that many points. What, at 28%, Jordan would just mop the floor and dominate this competition right here. But it's only worth 3, so that's a good advantage there. So now after that, it is Jordan 125 to James 102. But talk about that, 40%. Now, that's why I said stats can be misleading. You look at that and you go, that's bad. The only one I really ever look back and go, man, they blew that, was the Dallas one. When they were up 2-0 and then they ended up losing 4-2. He had some bad games in there, and that was really on James. That was it. And it was his second NBA Finals. They had the better team. That is on James. And I do believe Jordan would not have let that happen. Not at that stage. Not when James had already been to a final. Jordan didn't do that in his first final. They lost Game 1 to the Lakers. And I remember thinking, oh, we got a series. And Jordan said, slice that over, and never lost a game the rest of that series against the Lakers. And that's what Jordan would have done. And James just didn't do it. I think James has developed a better killer instinct, right? The all-time scoring leader has to have some kind of killer instinct. He leads the NBA in all-time buzzer beaters in postseason. So he's got that, and I think he learned it. But this is what was one of the learning lessons, and that one really hurt. But I don't hold it against him when they were up 2-1 and then lost to Golden State that first time. He lost Kyrie. There was no Kevin Love, you know, and who was the other guy? I can't remember. He had one other second fiddle, but it was like that would be like number 5 or 6 on other teams. So I don't hold that against him, but he still did lose. You know, he still lost those finals. Even if if the team was healthy, they would have won, but they weren't. And in the end, he is 22-33 with a 40% win percentage. So yeah, after that, 125 to 102. Now let's get to this. Finals stats. All right, let's get to the stats. Remember, we talked about it. In the NBA Finals, Jordan, 33 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Dang, that's why you don't go to Game 7. That's why. That is incredible. And with that, he will get 3 points to Michael Jordan because he got, remember, whoever gets 30 or more points per game gets a 3-point. LeBron James, 28. He did not get 30, but 28, frick, dude, 28 and 10 rebounds. Now, he gets a bonus point for getting a double-double in the finals. He got 28 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. So he gets 28, no points there, but he gets the 10 and the 7, so that's 1 each, and then the double-double gives him 3. So they come away tie, 3-3, because Jordan didn't get the 7 or 7. So after this round, it's 3-3, which means it's 128 to 105. So I mean, we're only coming into the last event, and the last event is only worth 1 point. So that's it. It's over. I'll give it, but it's over, and it's not even close. When you actually break down and use stats and numbers, it's not as close as people think. Even if you love it and you got blinders, you got to acknowledge it. If you comment on this video as a James fan and you come at me and say, oh, this is it, and it happens. It happens. It comes. There are people that will go, hey, great job, great stats. Hey, you're not using your bias, and yet people will still come at you with hatred. I'm not leaving nothing off here. The final one is the best regular season win percent. Can anyone guess what that is? I'm about to read it. Take a second. I mean, I figured Jordan would be over 55 to 60%. James, I couldn't remember. I thought it might be lower than Jordan. But surprisingly, both of them are 65%. They both won 65% of their regular season games. So that's... no matter, I mean, so even in Jordan's early years, and James, right, where James, he didn't have all these things, and he was in Cleveland, and he was carrying that decent roster, good defensive roster. You know, in the past, I've said they were not great, and people misunderstand that. I don't mean they're garbage. I've always said this. You're in a pro sport. You are 1% of the nation. You are freaking good. But what I mean is they are not Scottie Pippen. They are not Kyrie Irving. None of them were. They had some good players, and they worked well because James carried him and did well. But 65% for both of them, that's better than I thought. So way to go, Jordan. Way to go, James. So in the end, it is Michael Jordan, because they both get a point on that. Michael Jordan, 129, and LeBron James, 106. So a 23, ta-da! Isn't that ironic? 23. We are both talking about two 23s. You got the original 23, and then James, who's been 23, he's been 6, you know, whatever. But the other 23. And in this point scale, on accident, I can't plan this, they finished with a 23-point gap. So the original 23 proves point-wise he is better than LeBron James 23. Now, had we said that, if I needed to win a game, I'm probably going to take Michael Jordan. But if I'm building a team and they're both 20 years old, dang, it's hard not to want to take James. That's just me. You know, I know it's hard not to want to take James because you've seen it. Double-digit assists, you know, 7. He gets more rebounds, more assists. Look at his early years. He totally got everyone else involved, while Jordan didn't do that in his early years. He was a score, and then learned how to be a better, I don't know, maybe Phil Jackson, whatever. The case is, I just feel like I can do more with James, but you got to take out the part where he might leave me. That people have made that comment. That's true. Jordan's not leaving me. James could leave me. But I would be an owner who would build around James and know that, hey, get him a couple guys and he is going to take you to the top. In the end, though, Jordan, this ends it. You cannot debate it anymore. You can debate it, but if you are totally ignoring what the facts were just before in this video, sorry, you'll never admit it then. And like I said, coming from a James fan, it took me time. I used to think James was better. I used to say James was better. And maybe physically he's bigger and stronger, but the stats don't lie. I learned, you know, and life is easier. When you are agreeing and you're on the other side, it is easier than going against and getting yelled at and getting slammed all the time. And that's not why I changed. I changed because numbers and stats don't lie. Mike Ditka, I believe he said it once, at the end of the day, you are what your record says you are. And at the end of the day, Jordan wins by 23 over LeBron James. Thanks for watching. Give a like, give a subscribe. Check out my other videos. I cover all sorts of sports topics as well as fantasy sports. I know I haven't done any recently because it's not fantasy football season, but I will be doing it. So thanks, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. Did you like this point system? Do you agree? Jordan, James, did I miss anything? All right. Talk to you guys later. Peace.